Hello, everyone, and welcome to our Winning Wednesday segment, our Winning Wednesday broadcast. And it is 12 noon Central Standard Time here in Birmingham, Alabama. So if it's morning where you are, good morning, great horizon. If it's evening, good afternoon. But we are just super excited that you could join us here on today. As always, it is our desire during this time to keep you informed about what's going on, of course, here around the world, wherever you are. And so, as always, we want you to share this information. We want you to text somebody. We want you to tell somebody just about the information that is going to be presented on today. And so today we have another hot topic. It is a pressing topic. And I believe it's a conversation that has been had, I think, in every facet of our lives, whether you're at the beauty shop, the barber shop, if you're in classes, the grocery store, wherever you are, I believe people are truly talking about this. And that is the topic of COVID-19. So we're going to talk about that on today. Some of you knew, or some of you actually watched the broadcast a couple of months ago. We did in April with Dr. Consuelo Wilkins, and she is a physician at in Nashville, Tennessee, at Vanderbilt. Of course, you know, Vanderbilt University is known for its studies in disease and infection control, amongst other things. And so she really talked about the importance of being vaccinated, because of course I myself, along with my husband, we were a little leery about being vaccinated, but she really broke it down as far as, you know, why we need to be vaccinated. She dispelled all the myths. So of course you can go back and watch that, but it was in April of this year. So go back and watch that and share that information. And then COVID, you know, it kind of calmed down a bit. The numbers were not as high. The deaths associated with COVID were either little to none, and life seemed to be getting back to normal. You saw people out shopping and eating out, and things were great and were good. So we thought. And so then this new variant, this new mutation of the COVID has came, Delta, and I tell you, it is coming in like a storm. And so now hospitals are running back out of ICU beds. I think I saw recently where there are some states who are having to transport their patients to other states because there's no room. And then, of course, I know these numbers change on an hourly basis, but there's over 100,000 cases, new cases per day. And then we're averaging over 400 deaths daily. And so it seems like we are where we were a year ago, if not even worse. And so a lot of conversations going on about it. A couple of this will make it a few weeks ago, we had our back to school virtual rally. Of course, Dr. Cree, she's a physician here in Birmingham. She talked a little bit about COVID and really being safe for our students as they go back. And so, of course, we are here yet again. And so we want to get some medical expert advice, not the advice you get on social media. We have a medical expert today. And so he's going to really talk to us about how we need to really govern ourselves accordingly. He is a doctor from the Middle Georgia area, Macon, Georgia. And so please, yeah, we've had him on here before. So please welcome Dr. Conrad Miller. So don't forget, please share this information. If you're on Facebook, please share it. YouTube, we're out there. Instagram, we're out there. And Twitter, we're out there. So please share this with someone. Hello, Dr. Miller.
Good afternoon, Lady Mason. How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm great. I'm great. I'm blessed. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much for doing this for us. Of course, we, you know, a lot of people have questions, may not know the seriousness of this, but please explain to us this new variant. What is it and why does it seem to be spreading so fast?
Okay. So glad you asked. First of all, any bacteria, virus, organism can change over time. And so the Delta variant of the coronavirus, of the novel coronavirus from 2019 has become just a really rapidly spreading disease. And basically, it was kind of created in a perfect storm. And I mean, created by, not some outside force, but created basically by the environmental pressures upon it. So how a bacteria or virus or what have you mutates is basically, this organism, it's living in the cells and it's trying to survive. And, if medications are put up against it that are making a inhospitable environment for it, then the organism, is less effective or it dies off, and the host, the patient, recovers. But with most treatments, you don't totally destroy 100% of an infection. You basically destroy enough of an infection for your own immune system to destroy the rest. And so those survivors, if they're able to spread to another host, they're stronger. And if they take root in another host, say a healthcare worker who's caring for somebody who's been treated aggressively for a coronavirus virus infection, then maybe they'll take root in somebody in the room, some caregiver, or maybe the infection won't be totally gone 100% when they're discharged from the hospital, and some of those surviving viral particles end up infecting a caregiver at home, and the infection takes root. Or that person just becomes a carrier, and that person doesn't really develop a real infection, but they spread it to somebody outside the house. Uh, that's how the variant can get started. The survivors from a previous infection, from a previous version of the virus that it wasn't totally eradicated, and is mutated. And in this case, it's mutated into a virus that's just stronger, more hardy, more aggressive than some of the previous versions. So it's a new and improved COVID-19.
Wow. Let me ask you this. Is it so what's the reasons for why it's spreading? I understand it's stronger because it seemed like, and we'll get to this in a minute, it seemed like, the last COVID, I guess the original one wasn't infecting children, and now this one is really infecting children.
Yes.
I guess what is the reason why it is just spreading nationwide so fast?
Well, I think you kind of alluded to it earlier when you said that things were kind of going back to normal. And kind of my observations around, middle Georgia is that it seems a lot more people are out than at previous times. I mean, I just don't recall seeing the roads this busy. I don't recall seeing the coffee shops and everything else being as busy. The lines at the drive-through were so much longer. So, I mean, it seems like, where'd all these people come from? Everybody's out, everyone's in a line, everyone is on the move. And so we've got a more aggressive virus, and we've got people on the move because they feel like we've been locked down for a year and a half, and of course some people might have because of their economic circumstances might be doing better now than before the pandemic. So some people they might have had years of lack of vacation, lack of job opportunities and such, and now in a lot of aspects the economy is doing better, or people have stimulus money or something to spend, and so everyone's out. I mean, if you're looking around in town, everybody's got a new car. Whether it's a new or a new to them car, everyone's on the move. And when we're on the move and this virus is out there, it's taking advantage of it.
So is it because that people are out more? Is it because I've also heard that the vaccinated is spreading it, and then I heard that the unvaccinated is spreading it. And then should we wear masks? So is vaccination and mask the key? Smaller crowds. What are your thoughts on that?
Okay. Yes, masks are still the key. I'm still wearing a mask everywhere. I was joking with Pastor Mason. I still wear an N95 mask even when I'm pumping gas, which is an outdoor activity. But if someone pulls up at that pump right adjacent to me, they're within 6 feet of me. So unless I'm literally at the gas station by myself, I'm wearing a mask just to pump my gas, let alone any other thing I do outside. I still wear a mask when I pull up to the drive-through window and pick up my coffee. And usually the clerk is wearing one, but I'm wearing one because I'm right within that 6 foot window, and I'm trying to protect myself, and I'm trying to protect anyone else around me. Uh, I think I shared with you before. I had COVID in the very beginning of the year. I recovered, praise the Lord. I have been vaccinated since then. Um, I don't want it again. I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy. And the masks, if you don't have a great N95, this is kind of a blister pack of several, then you need to change your paper masks almost every time you use them. So the lady that uses it all day long and there's lipstick on the inside, that's trash. It's not helping protect you. These are really designed for single use or single patient contact. Um, if you're out and about all day long, you should change these all day long.
Mm.
Wash your hands, sanitizer. I've still got sanitizer in 2 or 3 cubbies in my vehicle. Um, so yes, I don't wear gloves to pump gas anymore, but I immediately sanitize when I get back in my vehicle. Just
When
using.
you were talking to me about those, the masks, that the single-use mask, because sometimes I say, okay, I'm gonna hang it up here and I get back in the
Yeah,
car. Here's lipstick all in it and
right.
make, yeah, so those have to be changed out,
Those
right?
have to be changed. Of course, the nice cloth mask that match your outfits and all. You know, because everybody's got them. Because that's the new fashion statement. Um, but those need to be washed frequently, and really, those ought to be a cover for something like this.
Like
You
that.
know, so have that match in your ensemble. You know, have your style game on. Have this underneath it. Um, or use it to cover an N95 and make that N95 last a little longer. But but yeah, everyone should be masking up close to all the time. I mean, unless you're driving in your car by yourself, or you're driving in your vehicle with your vaccinated loved ones, or you're at home chilling. I mean, but basically, if you're out in the public, you should be wearing a mask. You should be washing your hands. Um, you should be social distancing to the best of your ability. You know, all those steps still need to be carried out. I mean, that's why the Delta variant was able to um, come about. Was some vaccinated, some not vaccinated, some people who survived the illness, and some of those viral particles were able to shed and go to other people. Of course, it is possible to have a COVID infection once you're vaccinated. It's just a lot more mild of an infection. Uh, and we have no really good way of testing for carriers, those people who can carry the virus, shed the virus, but have no symptoms, because we'd have to test everybody continually to find the carriers. So, manpower wise, that's just not something that the medical community has been involved in.
Right, right. And so, and talk a little bit about the vaccinations. Should we get vaccinated? I've heard, so much stuff about, well, so and so got COVID and they still got the vaccination. But like you just said, the vaccination is supposed to lessen the symptoms of COVID. So prayerfully, it won't take you out as if you just had not had any vaccination. But can you speak about vaccination, the importance of it? And then also, is there a certain group of people who just should not be vaccinated? I've heard, I think those with maybe rheumatoid arthritis, those who have different kind of immune systems. So talk about vaccinations a little
Okay.
bit.
Okay. Well, first of all, vaccination. Since we have no great treatment, vaccination is going to be the key to getting any real sense of normalcy back. And I'm not even sure when that normalcy might come back. But this vaccination, if you really think about it, this vaccination is no different than any other untested vaccine, unproven vaccine that has been administered throughout history. Our parents and grandparents, got the polio vaccine in the 50s. That was version 1.0 of that vaccine. Our kids, depending on what age you are, if you're my age and have kids who are late teenagers or early 20 somethings, those kids got the HPV vaccine, 10, 15 years ago. That was version 1.0 of a vaccine. If the individual is 30 or so years old, they got the chickenpox vaccine. You know, back when I was a young physician, that vaccine came out, and that was also version 1.0. But there was no political controversy about those vaccines. I mean, there was a little bit of religious controversy about the HPV vaccine, for kind of the obvious reasons. But most vaccines have not been handled in a political arena. They were handled solely in a health crisis issue, or just a straight medical health prevention arena. And so there was a lot less controversy. I mean, there have always been people who, didn't want a medicine forced upon them, but not to this degree. So social media and the news and the political climate have made this an issue where it's planted all these bad seeds, and whenever you plant seeds, you're going to get a harvest. And if you plant bad seeds, you get a bad harvest. And we had bad seeds planted all of last year, and we're reaping a really bad harvest this year, unfortunately. but yes, you asked about people that should not have the vaccine or where there should be some discussion. So in my patient population, I've had several people blessed with kidney transplants. And basically, those transplants are not done here in Macon, where I reside and practice. They're all done in Atlanta and Augusta. So it's kind of been split on those people as to whether their specialists have said get the vaccine or not. But I do have, I know I've got two kidney transplant patients that have received the vaccine. Actually, and both of those individuals have actually had COVID and recovered, which again is another shadow moment because they're actively still taking immunosuppressive medications. I've got one individual that had kidney and another organ transplant, and I can't recall their status. But when you mentioned about people with autoimmune diseases, a lot of the local rheumatologists are a little on the iffy side about recommending the vaccine, depending on what biologic agent that patient might be taking. So those patients that are kind of taking the older medicines, the methotrexate, the medicines by mouth, the ones that are more anti-inflammatory based, those people, for the most part, are vaccinated. But some of the ones taking the biologic injections, a few have been told, don't get the vaccine yet. Some actually have had the vaccine, but it seems like it's a mixed bag on what the consensus is with rheumatologists. And so I tell the patient defer to what their expert is saying, especially if they're actively receiving treatment. But if there's an opportunity for them to pause that treatment for a month or so and get the vaccine in, if that's a reasonable compromise, I do think a patient should discuss that with their specialist.
That's good. And I'm gonna go back to what you said about wearing masks because my family, we're like we've been vaccinated and we've gone out of town, but we still put those masks on. And some people don't understand that, but I like to think of it as when I'm in my car, I have an airbag and I also put my seatbelt on.
Yes.
No, it's just double protection. It's just making sure that if something happens, that I'm not going to be killed. And people, like you said, they're making this a political issue, and that's not what it is. It's making sure you're safe and making sure you're healthy and making sure you're not passing this virus on to your loved ones and your friends. And so I totally agree with that. Let me ask you something that's concerning. I know to me, and it's more for because school has started back with some counties and some states. Our children go back on Tuesday. We've had a couple of school systems that went back last week. And I don't know what the CDC guidelines are, but at first, of course, it was 6 feet. And now they were saying in school it could be 3 feet.
Mm-hmm.
And so, of course, the younger population, 12 and under, cannot be vaccinated. And so, what are your thoughts on the large, let's say large gatherings? Because in the classroom, let's say it's about 20 kids.
Right.
What are your thoughts even on that? How can we keep our children safe? Because some of the school systems, well, most of them are not offering that virtual option like they did last year. And
Right.
if it's did, if they are, it's some kind of watered down version. So what are your thoughts on how we can really keep our children safe?
Well, it's a good question. I don't necessarily agree with that recommendation about reducing the spacing from 6 feet to 3 feet.
Right.
Yeah, I think that came out a couple of months ago, actually. I guess they were trying to get us to get used to the idea and then forget about it. But I would certainly say, parents can encourage their kids to wear the mask at school, regardless of what the school system is saying. I don't think there have been any problems from Alabama, and I know they haven't been in Georgia as far as forbidding the use of masks. I have heard some states further out west have got some really unusual ideas about masks, and we won't even mention
Right. I'm saying that.
the name of that state. But for any parent that can get their child to wear the mask, I would encourage mask use. I would encourage the parents to have discussions with the teachers about keep an eye on Billy and make sure he wears his mask. I've had discussions with some of the teachers, including, close friends who are teachers, like wear your mask in the room regardless, I mean, literally, unless they are forbidding you to do so, in which case you should take other action. But, you should still protect yourself and, continue all social distancing that you can. Um, it's unfortunate about the decreased virtual learning options. I do think that I'll be back by late fall or early winter, but
So too. I
again,
think so
I
too.
don't have a crystal ball, but with the numbers increasing in kids, it's
Yeah.
almost inevitable.
Yeah. I was telling my husband that we've even canceled, we were going to spend some time with family, during the holidays again. And, we looking at numbers. And so we kind of canceled that because we have, people in our family have some things going on. I have a mom who's, she had cancer years ago. And so, and then we have people that live in Florida, and Florida is, ooh, that's a state there. So there
Yes.
needs no mentioning of what's going on there. But it's just, now we just really having to rethink some things. Now I've heard that the virus can stay, I guess before the virus could stay in the air, I think it was like 12 minutes or something. And I've heard now that that time is that the same amount of time the virus can actually be in the air? Is it longer? Is it shorter?
Okay. I've actually not seen that data. And I think when, what you're referring to kind of refers to a lingering in relatively still air.
Yeah.
But of course, I'm sitting in a room with a ceiling fan and central air blowing, so it's got airflow patterns.
Gotcha.
And as Pastor Mason and I discussed in uh, thinking about, how do we get back into a live service? We have to know what's going on in all these air patterns to know what's going on as far as potential risk. Because if it has a hang time of 12 minutes, and we'll just use that as the default number, how long does it take for air to recirculate in a room? And what path through the room does it take? Is it like a direct breeze like I'm feeling right now from this fan, or is it something where a room where you just feel cool and pleasant, but you don't actually feel that air blowing on you? Because if that air is blowing on you, then whatever is in the air is also coming to you.
Right, right.
So, that's just a really hard thing to kind of study and track for, one individual building or one individual room versus another. And I don't know that we'll get to um, protect ourselves a lot by that knowledge, because I think it takes a lot to acquire that knowledge. Um, I think a system that sprayed a disinfectant in the air, on a fairly continuous basis would help reduce risk under that circumstance. But at some point in time, you'd have to question, will the disinfectant hurt us?
Right.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
Um, and then do you know if this particular virus can live on the surface for any length of time? Like, because when COVID first came and I had wipes, I was wiping all the groceries down. I had all the kids wiping. We were just
Right,
down so crazy. Then we kind of, relaxed from that
right.
because I could have been doing the mostest. But can virus can they live on the surface for any length of time, or this one particular?
Yeah, I don't think surface transmission ended up being that big of a mode. Um, and if it did, I think we probably would have a lot more sick people, because if you notice all these restaurants and everything, and they'll say, "Oh, we're cleaning this and that and the other," look up at the air vents. They're all still caked with gook.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, being a physician and kind of thinking the way I think, I'll just kind of randomly go in buildings and I look up and it's like, yeah, this hasn't been cleaned since before the pandemic. Yeah. So if we had that kind of great surface transmission, I think there'd be a lot more people sick and deceased, unfortunately. So I'm kind of discounting surface transmission. I mean, certainly you don't want to, share your computer with someone who's been ill and you can wipe it down. But I don't think that maybe we need to be quite as paranoid about the surface compared to our mask wearing and washing our hands and our social distancing.
And then, Doc, I keep hearing about the booster shot, and I don't know if you know anything about if that's coming, and then a possible month of when the vaccination will be available for our younger population. Any word on that?
Okay. I have not seen the word on dates for possible vaccination of the kids. I mean, I know the research is going
Mhm.
on that. Um, I'm not sure what the determining factor is going to be since, excuse me, since we still don't have FDA approval of the vaccine. But
Okay.
I imagine it would be once they get enough test children vaccinated and then they recheck their blood work and see the presence of antibodies within the bloodstream. Um, so I would be hopeful that it will be later this year. As far as boosters, one of the companies did or has developed a booster, and then uh, the CDC was a little bit critical of them announcing a booster. I do think boosters are coming. I'm not really sure when the CDC is going to give a recommendation because I guess without their recommendation, I don't know, who will be administering it without, that sort of approval. Nor would there be large production of it. But I do think, that the boosters are coming, and or at least development wise, and I guess whenever they get approved for use, mass production will probably start.
Okay. All right. And then I think I have one more question. Well, a couple more, two more. I just thought of that. And so I've heard that, and I heard this a couple weeks ago, that there is another variant that is on the rise.
Yes, that's the lambda.
That's
Yes,
the Lambda. Yeah, that's what
yes.
I've heard. And so I guess my question is, since, I know you talked about when it mutates, I guess it could be stronger. Do you think the Lambda is going to be even stronger than the Delta?
I have not had any good data on it whatsoever. I was familiar that there were some cases in South Africa. I don't know how widespread it's been. Uh, they use totally different vaccines there than we've been using.
Okay.
Um, yeah, no good information yet, but
Okay.
Lambda's out there, hopefully only to a small degree, and hopefully it's nowhere near as potent as this big brother Delta.
Yeah. Okay. Um, we've had conversations about, things to do to build your immune system. And is that something that, of course, I know that's something we should be doing anyway, like, we should be eating right and all that stuff, but can you recommend, or is it a good idea to just, do some things to build your immune system, uh, oranges or, things of that nature? Or your thoughts on that?
I don't think any of those things hurt. Vitamin C is always good. It's a water soluble vitamin. It's almost impossible to overdose on.
Mhm.
So yes, oranges, any of these great seasonal fruits in the South, are going to have decent amounts of vitamin C. Um, Doing more juicing, doing more smoothies, doing more healthy food. So less of those drive-through lines like I was referring to earlier, and just more good summer foods. Since you're in Alabama, I'm in Georgia. You can't sling a dead cat without finding a farmer's market, without finding a guy in the neighborhood selling greens. Getting some of those fresh fruits and vegetables into your system. Getting out someplace in a nice park and walking for exercise, increasing rest, increasing water. Uh, I actually sent an image to Pastor Mason. I think he's going to post it at the end.
I can post it now.
Okay, but it was recommendations during the flu pandemic in 1918. Exactly, that's it.
Yeah.
But all of the recommendations still make plenty of sense today. Of course, wearing a mask, and then there's the one about taking care of your mask, which is do not neglect your mask, which of course is as we discussed, washing the reusable mask, taking care of the straps, um, changing out the mask frequently, rotating them if you're using reusable masks. They talked all about getting fresh air. They talked about eating healthy. Uh, a lot of common sense, normal health recommendations. And I would add to that, of course, trying to keep your regular health care maintenance up. So people who are missing their mammograms, that's a real big problem. People missing their colonoscopies, and maybe they won't take advantage of the Cologuard, where you can do, that home stool testing to make sure that uh, a colon cancer is not sneaking in. There are a lot of things that a person can do to keep their health up and stay out of the emergency room.
Mhm.
Um, the emergency rooms are full right now. So if you're driving crazy, if you're not wearing your seatbelt and you have an accident, where will you end up?
Mhm.
At the emergency room with all the COVID patients.
COVID patient, yeah.
And just like yourself, we did a bit of a vacation. Just came back, and the drivers out there on the road were insane.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, a lot more so than a year or so ago.
Yeah.
So, anything that we do that, is detrimental to our health is another risk of heading to an ER, another risk of, the unwanted contact with the healthcare system. So still take advantage of the virtual visits, take advantage of, whatever your individual physician might be offering to, to maintain your health. But, not taking your meds and, ending up with a splitting headache because you haven't had your blood pressure pill in 3 months, and then you go to the ER, worst place on earth to go to. Um, these are all things that are totally under the control of the patient, of the individual. So that's what we want to do right now, is take control of our health. Stay prayerful, do all the efforts that we can do to promote our health, and try to get through however long this pandemic lasts.
Right. Yeah. I told my husband, I said, I probably wearing a mask until Jesus come back. I'm telling you, because it's just, because it's always mutating. You don't know
Yeah,
what's out there, what's in the
right,
air.
right.
So no, this was great. Good information. We're going to post this out there on our social media sites. And so thank you, Dr. Miller, for
Oh,
this
thank you, Lady Mason.
informative, very informative session. I'm just going to show a couple of more slides, and
Okay.
then we'll talk a little bit more. We'll go ahead and end it. And so, of course, thank you everyone for joining us here on today. I hope you were truly blessed by it. Don't forget to share this information. We hope that you were a little bit more informed about what is going on. And of course, this is a year 2021. And so our theme for Birmingham Bible Church Worldwide is Reconstruction 2021. You can watch us on all of our social media websites and outlets. We're on YouTube under BHAM BC. Of course, we're on Facebook under BHAM Bible Church, formerly known as the Church of the Way International. We're on Twitter at TCOWI.org, and we're on Instagram at BHAM BC. If you desire to be a part of our app store, we have an app now. And of course, all you have to do is go to your app store and My Sunday, that's one word, and then locate Birmingham Bible Church, and you can get all the information that is going on at Birmingham Bible Church. Then to receive text messages, text BBCWW to 94253, and you can receive notifications as well that way. So text BBCWW to 94253. And then we have a business directory for all of you who have a business. If it's small, if it's large, if it's just getting started, this place is for you. It is free of charge. You simply go to our website, bhambc.org, scroll to the bottom, click on business directory, and then you input your information. It is free of charge. And not only are you a part of our church's website, but you are part of a national Christian database as well. And then on today, you have heard Dr. Conrad Miller talk about COVID-19 and its variants. Please don't forget to share this information with someone. On next week, we will have Miss Valerie Wilson. She is a licensed counselor, and she is going to be talking about understanding why counseling is taboo in certain cultures. Listen, don't forget to not only watch these segments, but go back and watch previous segments. Parents, don't forget if you have children, you got grandchildren, if you have neighbors, Shot of Spice did a really good segment on how to find scholarships. So great information going forth every week on our Winning Wednesday. And then every Sunday, Pastor Mason is doing the Summer in the Psalm series. You don't want to miss that as well. That is every Sunday, 11 o'clock a.m. Central Standard Time. And then our children enjoy a virtual children's church, 10 o'clock a.m. So that's an hour before then. And if you desire that information, that Zoom ID information, please contact myself at Lady Pam at tcowi.org. Every Tuesday, we are doing a study in the scriptures with Dr. James H. Mason III. You don't want to miss that. We are studying and walking through the book of Philippians. It is so good. You don't want to miss that. It is a verse by verse, in-depth look at it. So that is every Tuesday at 11 o'clock a.m. Central Standard Time. And don't forget, we restream it so you can go back and watch it as well. And then we are having a great time every Saturday at 10 a.m. We are having our small group, Taming Your Tongue. That's our new curriculum. So it's part of our BBC Hangout. We have several, but that's every Saturday at 10 a.m. Of course, that's a private one, so you have to contact me. You can either text me or email me, Lady Pam at tcowi.org, to get more information about that. And then our prayer room call is every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 6 a.m. That number is 515-604-9324, and the access code is 381179. Thank you so much, everyone, for your continued support for our 11 sponsored children that we have in Haiti. It is because of your gifts that we are able to provide for them food, medical supplies, counseling, anything that promotes their physical growth and educational needs. So thank you so much for that. And thank you so much for continuously to give towards our land, our future. We are still believing God that He is going to provide for us land here in the Birmingham area, debt free. So thank you so much for that. We need everyone to, of course, reach somebody through these virtual programs, through these services. Tell somebody about what is going on at Birmingham Bible Church worldwide. And as always, have an awesome week. Well, thank you, Dr. Miller. Is there anything else you want to add before we dismiss? Just thank you again. You can even tell people how they can reach you. You can include that too as well. Any last tips you want to give us?
Well, thank you so much. I always enjoy being with you. I enjoy your questions. You have a lovely speaking voice and a lovely spirit. So, I think the main thing in getting through this pandemic, is trying to be good to ourselves and good to each other. I think trying to find a way to keep ourselves safe while still going on with our various purposes, our various missions that we all have in life. So this is a lockdown. This is different. This is unprecedented in most of our lifetimes. But still is something that we can all grow through and grow from. So if we have a positive attitude and we try to embrace those things that are important to us, our family, our friends, whatever our purpose is, that it becomes a whole lot easier to deal with this difficult time. And it will pass. Not sure when, but this too shall pass. So I just kind of wanted to leave that last bit of encouragement, not even on a medical tip, but just on I guess, maybe a little bit of wisdom.
Yeah.
And, that we all have to have that encouragement from time to time and encourage somebody else.
Right. And thank you so much for that. You're right. We need to keep ourselves safe because, I was looking at the news and, you have people who are, you have unruly passengers on airplanes and you just have unruly people everywhere who's, and like you said, let's just be kind to one another. Let's be safe. If someone wants to not do something or do something, then, just let them be. It's not, and if you're going somewhere, submit to authority If they're asking you to do something, go ahead and do it. And then when you leave out, then you can do what you want to do. So, yes, sir. So thank you so much for that last bit of information. Thank you so much. God bless you,
And
your
you,
practice, and your entire family. Thank you, Dr. Miller.
thank you. Good night. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.